Let's talk about baked custard. It's one of those desserts that seems so simple, but can be, really intimidating. If you've ever tried to make one and ended up with a sad, curdled mess, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the science and show you how to get it perfect every single time. Let's do this. So, on one side, you've got the dream, right? Impossibly silky, smooth, elegant, and creamy. But on the other side, yeah, that's the nightmare. Curdled, watery, rubbery, cracked. The good news is the difference between these two isn't some kind of baking magic. It's all about science, and we're going to master that science today. So what's the deal with this custard conundrum? I mean, how can a recipe with just a few simple ingredients, like cream, eggs, and honey, go so spectacularly wrong? Well, it's not really about what you're using, it's all about how you're using it. And here is our main character and our potential villain, the delicate proteins inside the egg yolks. These little guys are what give custard its structure. When you cook them gently, they link up and create this perfect, delicate web that holds everything together in a silky, smooth suspension. But if you hit them with too much heat too fast, they freak out, tighten up, squeeze out all the water, and you basically get sweet, scrambled eggs. So it all boils down to this. Making great custard is all about precision temperature control. It has nothing to do with luck or having some kind of baker's intuition. Nope. It's about using very specific techniques to manage the heat, from the second you start mixing to the moment it comes out of the oven. All right, so let's jump right into the first and maybe the most critical technique for making sure those eggs behave. It's a process called tempering, and it's really the art of introducing those delicate eggs to the heat without scaring them. First, let's just look at what you do. You start by gently warming up your cream and honey, just until the honey dissolves. Easy enough. In a totally separate bowl, you whisk your egg yolks with a little salt. Now here comes the crucial part, step 3. You have to slowly drizzle that warm cream into the yolks while you are whisking constantly. That's the key. And finally, you pour the whole thing through a fine mesh strainer just to catch any little bits and make sure it's perfectly smooth. So what did we actually just do? Well, that whole process has a name. It's called tempering. By adding that hot cream just a little bit at a time, you're gently and gradually bringing the temperature of the yolks up. If you just dumped the yolks into the hot cream, instant scrambled eggs. Tempering avoids that shock completely. Here's a really simple way to think about it. You wouldn't just jump straight into a freezing cold pool, would you? Of course not. You'd ease in, maybe splash some water on yourself first. That's exactly what we're doing for the eggs. We're giving them a chance to get used to the heat so they don't panic. Okay, awesome. We have successfully mixed our custard base, no scrambling in sight. But our job of controlling the heat is really only half over. Now we have to bake the thing, and an oven is basically just a big, hot, dry box, which is kind of the enemy of a good custard. So we need a secret weapon. And that brings us to a question that I know trips up a lot of new bakers. You see it in the recipe. Place your ramekins in a dish and pour hot water around them. And you think, why on earth would I do that? It seems like this weird, fussy extra step, but trust me, it is absolutely essential. Here's why. This technique, sometimes called a water bath, is a total game changer. It does 4 things at once. First, the water insulates the custard from that harsh, direct oven heat. Second, it makes sure everything cooks gently and evenly from all sides. Third, the steam creates this humid little paradise, which stops that tough, unpleasant skin from forming on top. And finally, because water can't get hotter than its boiling point, it acts like a temperature bodyguard, making it way, way harder to overbake and curdle the custard. And the water bath works hand in hand with this magic number. 325 degrees Fahrenheit is the sweet spot. You want everything to be low and slow. If you go any hotter, you risk boiling the water and cooking the custards way too aggressively. So remember, gentle oven, gentle bath. All right, so we've controlled the heat during mixing and we've controlled it during baking. Now comes the moment of truth. Knowing exactly when to pull the custards out of the oven. And this is where you have to use your eyes, because we need to master the jiggle test. I'm sure you've seen this phrase in a recipe before, and it can be so confusing. What does just set actually look like? And how much jiggle is slightly jiggly? It feels really vague, but there are actually very specific visual clues we can look for. Okay, this is probably the most important visual of the day. On the left, that's what we're looking for. The edges are totally firm, they don't move, but the very center has this slight cohesive wobble. See how it kind of moves as one unit, like Jell-O? Now, look at the right. That's overbaked. There's no jiggle at all, it looks firm or rubbery, and you might even see cracks or a watery surface. That's a sign those proteins have gone way too far.
So why do we pull it out when it's still got that little jiggle? It's because of something called carryover cooking. The custard is hot, the dish it's in is hot, and even after you take it out of the oven, that heat keeps cooking the center. If you wait until it's perfectly firm in the oven, by the time it cools down, it'll be overcooked and rubbery.
You did it! You mastered the jiggle test, you pulled your custards out at the perfect moment. But hold on, don't grab a spoon just yet. The final steps here are just as important for that amazing texture. Patience is really the last ingredient. So let's look at the timeline. Right away, you want to carefully get them out of that hot water bath. That stops the aggressive cooking. Then you have to let them cool all the way down on the counter, which takes about an hour. If you rush them into the fridge while they're still warm, you'll get condensation, which can mess up the texture. Once they're at room temp, they need at least 3 hours in the fridge. Honestly, overnight is even better, to chill and fully set.
And now, finally, the payoff for all your hard work and scientific precision. This is the fun part. You can go simple with just a little drizzle of warm honey. Fresh berries are fantastic for a little bit of tartness. A spoonful of whipped cream adds a beautiful lightness, and some toasted nuts give you that perfect crunchy contrast. And speaking of flavor, what's so cool about this recipe is how much you can change it just by switching up one ingredient. The honey is a great example. If you use a standard clover honey, you get that classic sweet flavor. But try it with apple blossom honey and suddenly it's delicate and floral. Or if you want something really bold, use buckwheat honey and you'll get this incredibly deep, molasses-like flavor. So if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Making a perfect custard is not about luck. It's not about some secret baking magic. It is simply about understanding and controlling heat at every single step of the process. From tempering your eggs, to using that gentle water bath, to mastering the jiggle test. And you know, the best part is, you haven't just learned how to make one recipe. You've learned the fundamental technique of temperature control that opens the door to so many other amazing desserts, creme brulee, cheesecakes, pâtes de crème, you name it. So now that you've got this down, the real question is, what are you going to conquer next?